guys, welcome back to Farm Up. Now, one of the most common things that I notice that people have problems with on farms is how to actually handle workers. I mean, how do you handle your employees? What happens if you have a huge team of employees? A lot of farms, the reason they fail is because of the employees they have. The employees can be a lot of stress. The employees can actually make a farm fail because in all reality, a farm is a labor-intensive kind of business. It requires that people work. It's not like a lot of other things where you can sit in your office and work from a computer and everything else is going to get done. No, a farm actually requires a lot of people. For me, for example, right here on my farm, for every chicken house I have, I mean on the commercial layer farm, for every chicken house that I have, which carries 2,500 birds, there are 2 workers. So if I'm going to have 10,000 birds, that's 8 workers without considering the manager, without considering the person who drives, and all those support stuff, you know, the cook and all those kinds of things. So it is very important that you pay a lot of attention to the workers that you have on the farm. So how do you ensure that you have a great team? Because if you have a great team on the farm, everything is perfect. Everything is going to work out really well. If you have a terrible team, you're in big trouble. So I'm going to share with you a few things that I've personally learned about hiring workers and ensuring that you have the great and the best team to work with on the farm and increase your chances of success. So let's go right through them. First thing, know exactly what you want. You've got to know exactly what you want. What do you need on the farm? What do you need from the person that you're going to be hiring on the farm? I mean, you must be certain. Do you need a driver? Do you need a laborer on the farm? Do you need a skilled person? Do you need a manager? Whatever role you're going to have on the farm, what exactly do you need? You need to make sure that you know what you need. That way you look out for that kind of person. For example, if you want someone to work inside the chicken house, then you don't go look for someone who has too many skills. I mean, you just need a poultry attendant. You're not going to go and look for someone with a lot of skills, you know, a manager. That could be a problem for you because number one, you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. Number two, he's going to want to do other things because what you want him to do, I mean, you want him, for example, to clean the drinkers. Is like, well, I'm a manager. Where I've come from, I'm not doing this kind of things. This is not what I'm used to. How do you tell me to do this kind of thing? So you need to be clear with exactly what you need, which kind of worker that you need, so that you look out exactly for that kind of person. Now, the other thing you need to understand is that you can nurture any of these people. For example, a manager, for me in particular, for this exact farm, the person who is managing the farm didn't start out as a manager. So he grew in the ranks to become a manager. But I trained him to become a manager through doing particular things, you know, different things, and giving him tips in particular things for him to become a manager. So make certain that you know exactly what you want so that you look for exactly the person that you need in that accord. Now, the second one is going to be really controversial, but I mean, I stand by it. You've got to look from particular areas. I know. Now, this is really crazy, but I'll go deeper into it. You see, for example, in my country, there are groups and communities from all kinds of places. And it is well known that particular groups of people, I mean people from particular tribes, have particular mannerisms. They are better at doing particular things. So if I want a worker who should be able to do particular things from me, a worker who I think will listen, a worker who I think will be more committed and do particular things, I will look for them from a particular area. I mean, this is really controversial because then I'm trying to judge people's qualifications based on a cover, based on, you know, tribe, based on communities where they come from. But yes, it's very important for me. It's simply from experience, yeah? Now, you could say whatever you want to say and be like, hey, you're being tribalistic, you're being all this kind of stuff, but it works. The truth is that it works. Very many times I gamble and I go look in particular areas and I never get disappointed. I mean, what I expected is exactly that. The people actually turn out to be quite crappy. Now, I'm not saying that people from particular areas cannot be good. No, they can. But the likelihood that they'll be good from particular groups of people is low, and the likelihood from particular groups of people and tribes is better. So why would I waste my time trying to look in a particular area where I have less chances of success, yet I can look in a particular social group where I know that 80% these people actually have a lot of commitment, they are truthful. I mean, I'll just go look in that kind of group and those kinds of people. So it is very, very important that you know exactly where to look. Like I've said, it's quite controversial and you could have your own say about it, but for me it works. And if it can work for you, why not? I mean, there's all kinds of people. Some people are not good at particular kinds of work. Some people are not be good at labor-intensive work, but they might be good at computer work. So let them go and do computer work. For me, the kind of work I require, they are generally not good, so I don't want to waste my time gambling with them. And another thing, which again is going to be really controversial, but it's the truth that I go by, is that on the farms, for actual work on the farm, I never hire ladies. Now, of course, that is very controversial. But I know that ladies are actually quite truthful. They do work with a lot of authenticity. They're less likely to steal, generally speaking. They're less likely to steal. They're more likely to be faithful and not do particular things. But they can't carry heavy things. I mean, for a farm, for me, it requires a lot of carrying. And that is the biggest problem, you know, the physical aspect of it. Now, of course, I could get men to do the carrying work and then get ladies to do the other work. But on my farms, I require that people sleep on the farm. I don't want my farm to be the kind of farm where people come from outside. So I provide everything and I want them to sleep at the farm. So what that means is that if I have both ladies and men on the farm, I'm going to develop particular problems that I don't think about. I mean, issues of the heart. Honestly, I don't want to deal with issues of the heart on the farm. I already have a lot of other problems to deal with. And then I don't want to deal with this one trying to date this one, then this one breaking this one's heart, then the guys fighting because of a particular lady. That particular problem I really don't want to deal with. It's a problem that I won't have. For example, I'm hiring only women or I'm hiring only men. Unfortunately, I can't hire only women because of the labor-intensive work. So that forces me to hire only men for the farm. And when it comes to any other work outside the farm, work involving sales and a lot of other things, I almost always hire women because I know for that kind of work, they're usually more faithful, more diligent. So for work off the farm, almost always I hire ladies. But on the farm, I never. Now, I know this is really controversial, but it's the truth and it has worked for me. I never have issues of the heart. I rarely have the guys fighting between themselves because usually what causes people to fight between themselves again is women and money. And here everyone gets their pay, so that's not an issue. Usually it would have been women. So that's how I solve that problem. Provide rules and roles right from the start. When someone comes onto the farm, they should know exactly what they are going to be doing and they should know the rules within which they work. For example, I've told you guys, for me, if you're going to be working for me on the farm, you must stay on the farm. Of course, for biosecurity reasons. I have a farm with chickens and for me, biosecurity is really important. So I don't want people to come from in, go out, in, go out. It's okay, everyone will have their leave days, usually on their off days. Again, they stay on the farm since they come from far. And then when they have leave days, I mean, they can go to their families, stay for 2 weeks, whatever amount of time that we've agreed, and then they'll be back and work. Yeah, those are the rules. Also, if you're going to be on the farm, you're not expected to drink on the farm. You're not supposed to take cigarettes on the farm. Plain and clear rules. If you're found breaking them, you'll pay the full punishment of the law. So it is very important. Same thing with the roles. Someone should understand. If the roles are ambiguous, then you should let them know that the roles are ambiguous, i.e., whenever we have something different that's not part of these exact rules that I've listed for you, you should be willing to come and do them. Then that person should know. But if you don't tell them, you'll give them a particular set of things they're supposed to do, and then after that, you'll tell them something else to do, and they won't show up. They suddenly won't show up, and then you'll get pissed at them. You'll be like this and this, but in all reality, you didn't provide the rules right from the start. So provide the rules and the laws right from the start so that someone understands them. The next thing is always offer everything that they need on the farm to do their work. If workers need particular things to do their work, provide it. I mean, if you don't provide it, then you're becoming a problem. I know someone who had a farm, I mean a huge commercial farm for layers, and then the workers would require a notebook to take records of the recordings, you know, the things that happen on the farm, and the guy wouldn't provide the book. And then at the end, he would want records, and when the worker would be like, hey, you didn't give me money for the record book, the person is like, you mean with all the salary that I pay you, you can't put aside this small amount of money to buy a book? Whose responsibility is it to buy a book? Is it you, the farm owner's responsibility, or the other person's responsibility? Clear, it's your responsibility. So don't expect him to use his money to buy a book when the farm is yours. It's not your farm. So provide them with everything that they need. If you give him a book and he doesn't fill the book, then he is in trouble. But if you don't give him the book and he doesn't fill the records, it's not his problem. So provide them with everything that they need. If they need to slash the compound, for example, provide them with a slasher, provide them with a slashing machine. If they need to clean the drinkers and everything, if they want soap, provide them with soap. If they need this, provide them with this. If they want to vaccinate birds, provide them with a vaccine. It's not their problem if you don't provide them with what they need. So you need to make sure that they are well equipped and supplied with everything. That is the only way that you can honestly judge them on a fair ground. If you're judging them, but you're not giving them everything that they need, you're not doing it on a fair ground. I mean, that's not proper justice. You need to make sure that there's actual justice. So you give them everything that they need. And then if they don't, do the work they're supposed to be doing, then you can actually judge them. Then the next point is always explain why you're telling them to do something. I mean, always explain why. It's very important that you always explain why. When you give people instructions, tell them why they should be doing it that way. If you do that, most likely you're not going to have to tell them to do that thing again. Because if they understand why, when they meet something that logically requires them to do that thing, they will do it. If, for example, I tell the guys it's important that we close the gate, because if we don't close the gate, we'll have animals coming in, we'll have people coming in, and that's going to mess up our biosecurity. First of all, they are more likely to close it because they understand why we are doing it. They are more likely to ensure that every time someone goes in or out, they will close it. But secondly, they will use their brains. I mean, if I create another gate at this point, they will also ensure that this gate is locked. But if I only told them to lock the other gate and didn't tell them to lock this gate, but I also didn't tell them why I told them to lock the other gate, they would be like, well, I think the other gate can be locked, but this one is open. He didn't tell us to lock this other gate. So you need to make sure that you always explain why. Why makes things simple. It also ensures that the people's brains work. I mean, if someone else also comes on the farm, it's easy to train that person because those people can train the person. They understand why they are doing particular things. So someone is more likely to implement a particular instruction if they understand why they are doing it. They won't implement it if they don't understand. The other thing is, don't compromise with theft. Yes, I never compromise with theft. There are particular things I can compromise with, things that we can agree on. When it comes to theft, it's a no-go area. I mean, people will start by stealing a single egg, then steal this, then steal this. Before you know it, they have robbed your entire farm. You just wake up one morning when they have connived with people and robbed your entire farm. So you must never, ever compromise with theft. For me, when it comes to theft, I've actually taken people to prison. Lock them in for 2 months, for 3 months, for 5 months, for stealing eggs, for example, from the farm. Because if they get this vice, they're going to teach it to others and teach it to others, and they don't understand the effort that you put in. Look at all the effort you put in, all the sacrifice. I look at myself, where I've come from, all the effort, all the sacrifice, all the hard work. If I lose, I'm not going to be losing. For them, they're getting their salary, and then they choose to steal. 100% a no. So I don't compromise with theft, and you should not compromise with theft on your farm. If someone is caught stealing, they need to make sure that they are punished. Punished in whichever way. Either you fire them, you take them to prison, whichever way that you agree upon with them when they are being hired with the rules, you need to make sure that you implement it. So don't compromise when it comes to theft. The next one is be quick to fire. Oh yes, be quick to fire. Very important. You see, when it comes to farming, like I've said, it's so dependent on the people who work on the farm. Very, very, very dependent. So dependent on the people who work on the farm. So if people don't understand, first of all, that their position is actually important and what they're supposed to be doing is so important to you, then you can't keep those people around. You certainly can't. There are particular things. If you're giving someone instruction and they are not listening to the instructions, that's not someone to keep on the farm. I mean, you give them instructions once, twice, 5 times, and they don't listen, that's not someone to keep on the farm. Let go of them. There's a lot of people all around the world, a lot of people who are looking for jobs. A lot of people. You can cycle through them and cycle through them until you get the right people. For example, on my farm here, on the commercial layer farm, I have perfect people. I mean, it's a team of maybe about 8 people, but it's a perfect team. Everyone understands what they got to do. Now, I had to go through a bit of firing for me to get to this point. So don't compromise. Don't feel like, well, I don't know where I'll get someone else. Guys, there's a lot of people. And luckily enough, a lot of times the work that requires to be done on the farm, most of the work doesn't require a lot of skills. I mean, almost anyone can do the work as long as you can train them. Anyone can learn these skills. It's not like you need to go to school to learn a lot of the skills. So it is very, very important. Make sure that you don't compromise with that. Be quick to fire. If you get a good employee, keep them like they are gold. But if someone is terrible at their work, you give them 1 warning, 2 warnings, no 3rd warning. Let them go, get someone else, cycle through as many people as possible until you get the right one. When you get the right one, treat them like gold, keep them on the farm. The next thing is you must do consistent meetings on the farm to ensure that you continuously evaluate the farm. You need to make sure that people on the farm understand that they are valued. You need to also make sure that they understand what they are doing and why they are doing what they are doing. So make sure that you're consistently doing evaluation meetings. You know, have meetings maybe once every month, maybe sometimes it's not possible, maybe once every 2 months. If you're not around, make sure that the manager is consistently having meetings with the people and you're being filled in. It's very important that meetings happen every month. Very, very important, because it creates a form of cohesion. Also, it creates a line of communication, yeah, and people feel like they are being heard. So in that point is also the thing of make sure that you listen to their problem. Make sure that you listen to their problems. So have meetings, listen to their problems, try to implement them. If they're telling you that, well, from my observation, this and this and this is happening on the farm, and I think if we do this, this could actually work out, try to listen. I mean, don't brush it off because you feel like you're the expert. No, listen to it. They're the ones working there each and every day, and most probably they understand what's happening there. So make sure that you listen to them, try to implement, learn from what they are telling you, and make their life comfortable. And finally, make sure that you treat the good ones like gold. I mean, I've already been talking about this earlier on, but make sure that you treat the good ones like gold. Make them feel like they are valued. I mean, treating them like gold doesn't mean like if they do something wrong, don't punish them or don't tell them that what they're doing is wrong. No, make sure that you give them clear instructions, but treat them like gold. Make them feel like they are valued. Someone is more likely to stay and actually do work with energy if they feel like they are valued. If something nice happens, I mean, give them a bonus. If you've been giving them particular food each and every day, I mean, once in a while you could bring some nice sodas, cut an animal, kill an animal, let them share together on the farm. I mean, sit down with them, create some form of bond with them. In the evenings you can sit down, talk about something, make them feel valued. Don't make them feel like they're not valued, like they are useless. No, make them feel like they're appreciated and they are more likely to do whatever you request of them. I hope this video has actually been very useful, because for me these things have worked for me and they can certainly work for you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell, that way you never miss out on an upload. Catch you very soon with another one. Lots of love. Bye bye.